Yo, this your boy Adeleke. I just came across a video on Instagram that got me thinking and wanting to chat with my people. So I decided, it's been a little while since I've done a video. I decided to sit here and knock this out with you real quick. This particular video is about how we deal with our situation with the police, you know. I may have spoken about this before, but I just wanted to talk about it a little bit again real quick because I just saw this video. And in this video, there's a young man, he's getting arrested. He's on a bicycle. What happened leading up to the moment where the video started, we don't know. We'll never know. But the caption on the IG post is, this has got to stop. There's no good cops and all this other stuff. And where I agree this stuff has to stop. And I also understand or overstand, like my brother say, where this sentiment comes in as far as there are no good cops. I overstand where that sentiment comes from. Not saying that I agree it to be true. Not saying I agree it to be untrue. How I believe it's truth is irrelevant. The fact that I do understand where it's coming from. You understand? Still, the police are there and they're here for a reason, and largely they do a decent job. However, there's a significant number of them that do mediocre job, and they do a mediocre job in the relationship to all of us being U.S. citizens, people walking through this country, doing our thing, being peaceful. Now with the Instagram and the Facebook and the video pop up, everybody got a capture. We see situations involving the police more and more and more that look like they just ain't no good situation. And some of them just ain't no good situation. And in those situations, those officers generally go through review and they're generally reprimanded for their bad behavior. Generally speaking, they are the ones that slip through the cracks, or even in some cases, the cracks are held open for them to slip through. That happens too. But the one thing is for certain is, notwithstanding all of that, we have to protect ourselves and we have to be in an honorable position at all times. And that is the key to this particular video. That's the reason why I decided to do this video. Now, I learned a while back from some of my fraternity brothers who happen to be largely in the group of these men. Large group of these men were actual cops. There was a mix. Some of them were current officers of the law. Some of them were, I'm messing with the light, right? Some of them were current cops. Some of them were retired officers. Some of them being current and ex-military. And they gave me a lot of strong advice in my youth. I was in my early 20s when I met most of these men, spent time around them and learned from them these things. And I myself have never been trained as a cop. I did some military training once, but I never spent time in the military. It was all pre-enlistment type of training. But I do get it. I'm military minded in the sense that I've been trained in martial arts all of my life. And I get it, you understand? And I study the law. So I get it, right? And one of the biggest things that have always taught me was you have to be in the position of, you have to not be subject to. You have to not be a subject of the police. Now, you have to focus, your intention has to be to not be subjugated by the police. That's your mindset when you encounter them. Now, for the random general people, what does that mean? Like, to not be subject to the police? It just generally means that when you encounter the police, when you encounter authority, it has to be clear that you are in control of you 100%. You can, if you give the impression that you could be under the influence of a substance or a spirit, if you give the impression in public setting that you're not in control of your faculties in their entirety, you may find yourself subject to. That is the essence of it. So you get pulled over by the police, or you have an encounter, you're walking down, the police ask you XYZ. A lot of times we see these videos of people like, well, why are you bothering me? Why are you harassing me? What did I do? Am I being detained? Am I subject to an investigation? Am I subject to a search? Am I subject to an arrest? Am I subject to any of the things that the officer of the law has authority to hold me subject to? Am I subject to? And if I am not subject to, if you don't show reasonable cause to hold me subject to, then you got to get the fuck out of my face. But you have to be able to say that in a way, in any way that doesn't make you subject to. So you have to be in your faculty. You have to be in your person. You have to be in your person, fully and entirely in your person, in order to be able to navigate a situation like that. The police pull you over and you go, what did I do? Hey, man, why you bothering me? Hey, what's going on? Hey, man, leave me alone, man. Hey, what did I do? Hey, help, everybody, help. What's going on? Help. That's going to get your ass locked up. If it's going to get your ass locked up, it might even get your ass injected with something. Guaranteed. Now, we all ain't at the same level of emotional maturity. We ain't all at the same level of whatever you want to pick out as to say we ain't all at the same level of. True fact, always true in fact, right? But that doesn't change anything as it relates to how you navigate your experience with these particular authorities, with the police, all right? So that's number one. Always make sure that you are in your person. And here's thing number two. Make sure that your person is always represented. That's the two things. If I could tell you anything, I could tell you two things. One, make sure you're in your person at all times. And two, make sure your person is always represented. Now, what does that mean to have your person represented? That means at a bare minimum, you need to be able to show that your person is true for recognizance of self, personal recognizance. That means that you are completely and totally responsible for yourself. And then you have someone to sign off on that, whether it be a minister, whether it be a school teacher or principal, maybe it's someone in your community, someone who has a clear foothold in the community that can be resourced. Maybe it's even a clinician, a doctor, someone who holds a public license that can be found through public record. It may be a business owner that's on record that you know by name, that you can, call their name and address and maybe even their phone number. And these are ways to establish representation, in terms of personal recognizance. Now, outside of that's the bare minimum. But I would never suggest to you, it's like me walking around with the bare minimum. It's like going to the club with the bare minimum money in my pocket. Like, I got just enough to cover parking in the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna have a blast. All I got is parking in the door. And yeah, you might enjoy yourself. You will probably enjoy yourself because you got the bare minimum to enjoy yourself. but you probably want to have a couple of other dollars in your pocket to buy yourself a drink or buy someone else a drink. You know, that's what we do when we party. We socialize. And if you got the bare minimum, then you're going to minimalize your socialization. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of this, have an attorney on retainer. That is the ideal. Now, it generally doesn't cost anybody about $300 to $500 to put an attorney on retainer. So you could take, instead of buying that second or third large screen TV for your 2-bedroom apartment, because you already got one 60-inch TV in your living room and another 50-inch TV in your bedroom, pawn one of them bitches and take that bread and give it to an attorney whose name you can recall, someone that you like the way they look or like the way they smell or their name sound like somebody, or maybe someone you went to school with that actually went off to law school and you're like, well, this is my classmate, I'm a truck driver, but my classmate as a lawyer, we don't really hang out like we did when we was in high school, but he is a lawyer or she is a lawyer. So go to her and say, hey, I just want to have an attorney on retainer. Here's $500. Write up a receipt. Give me that. Give me your card. Take their number and put their number in your phone. But more important, if they're an attorney, just always know their name. That is the best solution, because that way, if anything ever happens, you get pulled over, anything's going out of the way, you don't like the way things are moving, you go through the simple process. I'm inside my person. I don't like the way this is going, officer. You sure you're doing this the right way? Doesn't seem right to me, sir. Okay, I'll tell you what, let me bring your supervisor out here. Oh, you don't want to bring your supervisor out here? Oh, you out of pocket, right? Okay. Oh, you know what? Tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to debate with you out in the field because I know you want to go home to your family, and so do I. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to call my attorney. As a matter of fact, you're going to call my attorney and get in the camera like, this is my name. This is my name of my attorney. I am totally inside my person right now, and my representation is as such. Joe Blow's law firm on Flatbush Ave, or whatever the name of the road, the street is. Give that information right there. Look in the camera and give that information. Like, this is my name, this is my address, this is my attorney's name, this is my attorney's address, and then let them take you to jail. Let them. Well, if you're gonna, if it's your time to go in the hands of the police, then there's nothing you can do about that. The Almighty's gonna call you home when it's your time, so you don't have to worry about something happening to you in the custody of police. Because if that's your destiny, then there's nothing you're gonna do to shake that, right? But it's probably not your destiny. And so it's more reasonable and more likely and more comfortable if you get the hell out of there as fast as you can. And you're not going to do it screaming and yelling and hollering and hoopering about what's being done wrong with you. Somebody, please call somebody. I can't believe this is happening to me. La da 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 da. It's not happening like that. Stay in your person. Call for representation. Now, here's another thing. If you don't want to go and do that, if you don't know an attorney, you didn't go to school with one, you don't know anyone personally who's an attorney, or, you never had any real luck with lawyers, you just don't trust them the same way a lot of people don't trust lawyers. Like, a lot of people don't trust doctors, and I don't blame them. There's reasons for that too. Can't blame no one for how they, experience life. It's how one experiences life is how they experience life. However, there are utility to lawyers and doctors as well, whether you like them or trust them or not. So here's another option for you. If you don't have an attorney that you can call on personally and give a retainer to. I don't mean just a lawyer friend that that do you a favor at 2:00 in the morning because you got arrested. No, I ain't talking about that. I mean someone that you've given a retainer to. Because when you've given them a retainer, they're legally obligated to respond to you when you need them. Now, they got to come and get you out and then make you sign papers to release, and y'all, dip out as an attorney. But then by that time, you've already, had what you need from them. That's a whole nother situation. That's progression, right? The second, another efficient and effective way to make sure that you have representation is some type of service like prepaid legal, or even better, like the United States Concealed Carry Association, Legal Shield, United States Concealed Carry Association, National African American Gun Association. I mentioned the latter two specifically for legal gun carriers in case you ever actually have to, like, you ever get in a situation where you were in possession of your weapon, you legal possession of your weapon, but you find yourself under arrest, maybe because you had to draw on someone, or maybe you had to fire. Worst case, you had to fire someone, or maybe you've injured someone, or even worse. You know what I mean? You want to have an attorney on deck, specifically an attorney that's designed, or I say designed, but an attorney service that is designed, an attorney that is specialized in getting people out of jail for shooting other motherfuckers legally under their right. And so United States Concealed Carry Association, USCCA, and the National African American Gun Association, NAAGA, and then also Prepaid Legal. Those two associations are gun carrier associations, and those memberships come with insurance and a bond, an arrest bond, in the fact that if you ever had to shoot anyone, whether it's in your home or in the street, that membership comes with a bond that'll help get your ass out of jail, lickety split, and get you lawyered up, So you have to practice that too. My name is Joe Blow. I'm wearing XYZ. This is my description. I just shot, you maybe say I just shot someone and then hang up the phone and let them come out there. But you've given them your description, so they know who you are, so that you can move forward, because they recognize that Joe is the one that made the call. Oh, I'm Joe Blow. I'm 5'9". I'm wearing a white headscarf and a white T-shirt and a beard. An African American at 40 years old. Now they know when they come out, oh, wait, look, there's the guy. Well, this guy over here is, 25, but this guy looks like he's 40, but he's wearing white and he's got a beard. This is the guy in the description. This is who called. Let's talk to him first because he's the one that called. Generally, that's how that goes. Still, having Legal Shield, having those types of insurance is a phenomenal resource. But then on a much lesser note, just a standard traffic stop, or riding while black, or on your bicycle, and so you fit the description. Any of those, that might not be a USCCA type of protection scenario, but Legal Shield instead, for sure. And the cool thing about Legal Shield is, if you have Legal Shield, it covers your entire family. So it's like, mama can have Legal Shield, and all her kids, hardhead, knucklehead kids, will be covered as well. So if they're out in the street and if they've been trained and they've had these discussions and they know, hey, if this happens to me, stay in your person. The less you say, the better. Because what they say, whatever you say will whatever, it might as well just say will be used against you in a court of law. People don't hear that part, but it's whatever you say can and will. So they're telling you that whatever you say will be used against you. Whatever you say, your presumption of innocence will be used against you. Your declaration of truth will be used against you. Your statement of fact will be used against you. Whatever you say will be used against you in a court of law. So shut the fuck up. Ask the question, no more. Make no statements. Am I being detained? Am I being subject to search? Am I being subject to arrest? Am I being subject to fill in the blank? Subject to arrest, subject to detain, subject to search, subject to an investigation. Am I being subject to? And if I am not, may I go on about my business? And if I may not, you're going to have to contact my attorney and shut the fuck up. That's my public service announcement, man. I love y'all. I want y'all safe. I want y'all healthy. I want you prosperous. I want you with your families. I want you growing. I want you smarter. I want you taller. I want you wealthier. I want you healthier. I want you to be all that the Almighty created you to be. That's for you, that's for me, that's for all of yours, and it's for all of mine. Take care. This your boy Adeleke, and hey, I love you later, all right? Peace out.